Hi, this is James Valvis, and I'm going to be reading a poem today called To a Self-Help Guru on PBS. It was originally published in the New Laurel Review back in 2009 and eventually ended up on page 35 of my book, How to Say Goodbye. The poem is about my grandmother, who was poor her entire life, extremely poor. We're talking about desperately poor. They barely able to keep a roof over her head and food on the table, and and this had to do largely because my grandfather was just a horrendous human being, and he cheated on her. He was an inveterate drunk, and he beat her. He beat the kids. He was just an awful human being, and and she eventually got rid of him, but at the price of, lapsing into really hard financial straits, which of course plagued through the generations up to my generation now. It's taken to recover from that. That's how much damage one person can do, a person like my grandfather. But yeah, the poem also talks about uh, the self-help guru who appeared on PBS at the time, and he was raising funds for that television station. They do that from time to time. They say, "Please give us money so that we can, keep this programming on the air." I don't know why they can't just go and get corporate donors like everybody else. It doesn't make sense to me. But apparently, they think they need to beg from the people, um, and so his name was Dr. Dwayne Dyer, and he wasn't a bad guy. I read quite a few of his books. I must have listened to his tapes at some point. But he was like a lot of self-help gurus in that, like Tony Robbins and Zig Ziglar and guys like that. They're basically good guys, but they believe much more in materialism and success through winning the game of life rather than winning through uh, ethics and by achieving a certain degree of severity in one's own personal ethics, which I think is the key to happiness. I don't think that happiness comes from making a lot of money. I think it comes from being a good person. And I don't think that you can ever achieve happiness outside of being a good person. Um, but whereas they have some redeeming qualities, the other character in this poem, Rousseau, has absolutely none. Rousseau is probably responsible for most of the suffering of Western civilization that you can think of. I mean, every bit of the disaster of the 1960s and the overturning of every single decent morality can be traced back to Rousseau from his idea of the natural man, and that society is at fault for everything a man does wrong, rather than a man being innately flawed and needing to work on those flaws to become a better person. Um, so all you see with political correctness and multiculturalism and all this garbage, it all stems from Rousseau, where he says, man was born free and everywhere he's in chains. Man was born perfect, and everywhere he's been corrupted by society. So, but that's not Christian idea. Is the opposite idea, that man is born corrupt, that he has original sin, that he's fallen, and so these two are opposed to each other, and they produce different political outlooks and different ways of viewing the world. And I clearly side with the Christian view of the world. I don't even think it can be argued with. I think it's very self-evident that a human being is born flawed, and it doesn't matter how well he's raised. He may be raised from great parents and turn out to be a Jeffrey Dahmer, or he may be raised from absolutely horrendous parents and turn out to be an awesome human being. So, anyway, let me read the poem to you, and then we'll finish up. To a self-help guru on PBS. Follow your bliss, the balding man says between pitches to ask us to send money so the television can stay on the air and continue to make him rich and famous. You've got to follow your bliss, he states, no matter where it leads. And I think of my grandmother, an old lady even then, slaving at the New York Stock Exchange as a janitor, picking up scraps of paper for 10 hours a day, cleaning the toilets of the gaudy rich. Because my grandfather, that bum, was out following his bliss with every bottle and broad he could grab. My grandmother had 5 hungry kids and no time for her bliss, just the train to the city and home again to make dinner. Maybe she watched the Mets on television, and that was all the bliss she followed. My parents were also janitors whenever they weren't following their bliss of booze and bingo, the bliss of beating each other until the police arrived, weapons drawn. I followed my bliss for a while and ended on the streets, wearing a Depends diaper to collect the drainage flowing from an abscessed cyst. Rousseau started all this follow your bliss crap. Whenever he had a child, he put the unlucky kid in an orphanage, where the kid's chances of survival were no greater than 50-50. He didn't want to get weighed down, you know. You could make a good argument that Stalin was following his bliss. Ted Bundy, too. Why be angry at terrorists who kill innocents? Aren't they, too, Mr. Guru, following their bliss? So no, I won't be ordering the whole enchilada at the $500 level. Neither will I be calling up to request a mini enchilada at the $200. I'm sorry, I'm not even buying the book for $100. It'd be an insult to all the novels I bought for a dime. I guess I'm just one of those who doesn't care about quality television. But if I have any money, hard-won in this hard life, I'm going to keep it and spend it on flowers for an old lady's grave. This was James Valvis reading his poem to a self-help guru on PBS. Please like, comment, and subscribe and share this poem, and God bless you.